the Wednesday meditation service. The word for today is, I am one with those who came before me. Today I remember those I love who are no longer with me in physical form. I keep my heart soft and open, allowing a range of feelings from sadness to joy to envelop me as I remember. I welcome the memories of those who have gone before me. The love I shared in my relationships remains, even after form has changed. My ancestors live on through me, as do all the people I have loved. I carry within myself their wisdom, strength, and energy. An invisible cord connects us like a precious keepsake passed down from generation to generation. The gift of remembrance blesses me with sweet and tender memories. I thank my God every time we remember you. Philippians 1:3. Okay, so we're going to do a chant, and it's a call and response. Speak with the mouth of God. Love with the heart of God. Love with the heart of God. Walk with the feet of God. Walk with the feet of God. Sing with the voice of God. Sing with the voice of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Heaven, heaven. Here with the soul of God. Walk with the grace of God. Breathe with the air of God. Breathe with the air of God. Think with the mind of God. Think with the mind of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Heaven, heaven. Hear with the words of God. Never, ever fear God. Never, ever fear God. Merge with the mind of God. Feel with the love of God. Feel with with the love of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Heaven, heaven. Speak with the mouth of God. Love with the heart of God. Walk with the feet of God. Sing with the voice of God. Love in heaven. Here and now. Dance with the soul of God. Walk with the grace of God. Think with the mind of God. Breathe with the air of God. Live in heaven. Here and now. Here. The words of God, the words of God, never, never feel God, fear God, merge with the mind of God. Feel with the love of God. Live in heaven. Live in heaven. Live in heaven. Live in heaven. here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Oh.
Good evening, everyone. Quite a few people are contacting the church, contacting me about the political situation in our country at this time. There seems to be a lot of news around the idea of people attempting to disrupt the coming midterm elections and people with guns intimidating other people that are trying to mail their ballots in drop boxes, et cetera, et cetera. And so, beside the normal anxiety of the world, the elections are cooking up some more anxiety, and people are buying into the anxiety. And I suspect the reason why is that we think that the limited conditions of the world, and sometimes the terrible conditions of the world, can be healed through some political system or political group or some protesting or whatever it is people think, maybe even through voting, we'll be able to solve the problems of the world. And people must really believe that, because the tension is extreme in the political arena these days. But there is not going to be any substantial peace in the world. The Master of Life said, in the world, you have tribulation. And what is meant by that, when you understand the scripture, the world itself is built upon a thought system that is the foundation for conflict. That there'll never be enough agreement in the different convoluted points of view in the country that there will be a sustained peace in the world. So, thank you. So what else is there? I mean, seriously, if there isn't going to be a sustained peace in the world, what are we about doing? We are seeking a mystical peace, a peace that surpasses the understanding and the thinking of the world. It doesn't mean we leave the world. Some people along the way in my ministry, I've met some people that are giving up the world, giving away their furniture and their car, and they're going to go live in an ashram or a community where there's a lot of meditation. But the object of our yoga in Unity is to be in the world, but not of the world. The object of our yoga, of our spiritual practice, is to gain and sustain a peace that is beyond the understanding of the world, which means that we would have peace and people might look at it and not understand it because the circumstances surrounding us wouldn't necessarily give someone the concept that this is why they have peace. They would think, how could you have peace in this situation? How could you have peace? Because it is a mystical peace in which the consciousness is aligned with the grand, refined intelligence we acknowledge to be God, our Creator, who is part of our soul being. And to the degree that the mind opens up to that, accepts that, and seeks to live from that, to that degree, mystical peace is established. And so that it does require a change in our focus on life of what is truly valuable, what is important. Because for everyone that is going into this craze of anxiety over the elections, there is something going on within their mind that has them beside themselves with anxiety for no reason. Because an awakened person, a person who is aligned with the divine intelligence, knows that the most important thing in every moment is peace. And if you have it, it means you have understanding. If you have peace and are able to sustain peace, then you have arrived in the awakened state of mastery. But as long as we allow the changing tides and circumstances of the world to upend our peace of mind, as long as we're allowing that to be so, we are still locked in to the illusionary definition of life. I am a separate body, mind, in a world of separate phenomena, over which I have no control and has no regard for my well-being or my happiness. What's interesting as well is that this idea of salvation has been so limited and so badly represented by religion when they talk about salvation. But even back in the time of Moses, you can listen to the truth being revealed way back then. I'm going to share it with you now from Deuteronomy. This is from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verses 11 to 14. This is Moses speaking to the people of Israel. For this commandment, which I command you this day, is not too hard for you, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that you should say, who will go up for us to heaven and bring it to us, that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who will go over the sea for us and bring it to us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very near you. It is in your mind and in your heart, so that you can hear it and do it. But the divine word This is a capital W. Divine Word is very near you. It is in your mind and in your heart, so that if you really wanted to, you could hear it. And you could do the divine word. And you could find yourself in alignment with the divine intelligence of which we are all a part. And that's really what we are about doing in Unity. The reason why we have our spiritual practices. And the two main spiritual practices are meditation and the holy pause. It takes some willpower to make peace your goal. And it's interesting how limited it is. People have so little willpower in the world because they do things that are so counterproductive to their own happiness. There's hardly any real discipline in the outer-directed, illusion-driven world. There's hardly any real discipline. You know, you have people announcing the fact that the planet is really going through a terrible phase, and that what we have to do is we have to cut back on our emissions, and we have to do these different things, and we have to conserve water, we have to do this. But saying that to people doesn't necessarily mean they are going to participate in that which they are asked to do. And so it's pretty accepting that they're not want to give up their personal ideas and desires and demands on life. They're not want to do it. They're hoping everybody else will do it. They're hoping that, somehow or other, science may come through and bail us out of the responsibility for being one with life. We don't want that responsibility, not on the collective level. There are those who have mastered life whose desire had been for being one with the intelligence which is God. But for most people, they don't want that responsibility. They want to get their own way, and they hardly see what a problem they are for themselves and everyone else. Which comes down to the fact that they don't have the strong willpower to come to true life. To come to true life, you have to take to task your own awareness. You have to do that which is not always in keeping with what you personally would rather have, or being right, or being thought important, or spiritual, or special. All of those things belong to the ego-centered definition of life. I am strictly a separate personality, a body-mind, in a world of separate phenomena, and I have to contrive and control and do whatever I can to get the conditions and circumstances of life to meet my desires, my wants, my demands, my addictions. So it is even possible that people, I suspect for young people, when you offer the idea of peace being the goal of existence, and you have to, if you're not there, and many of you are there, and many of you have touched upon being there, but to sustain a level of peace in the world, being the goal of existence, I'm not so sure that young people tune into that as soon as they think of it that way. Because they think excitement They want excitement. They want action. And of course, they will get some excitement and get some action, but they'll also get some disappointment. And they'll get a lot of displeasure as they go along. Because the world is not controllable. You can't set up life or the world to make it meet your personal expectations and demands. You can't. Doesn't matter how much money you make or how popular you become. So what else is there? There is only this: enlightenment. Learning to live so beautifully and effectively that you're no longer of the world. You're no longer being tossed this way and that way by every changing tide of circumstance in your experience. You are now operating from a higher level or dimension of awareness, and you know now what is truly valuable is to sustain peace. And by the way, that is our personal calling. And here's where some people get off. You cannot surrender your yoga, your calling, to be God conscious and sustain peace. You cannot surrender that for anything. That is your daily yoga. You can't surrender it for anything. And as soon as you start to surrender it for anything, it will leave you. Because it is the pearl of great price of which the masters speak. There is a divine awareness. There is a perfect, beautiful level of consciousness that surpasses all other experiences in life. And once you have gained that pearl of inestimable value, you will know what it means to truly be alive. So, how important is peace? I think that A Course in Miracles very clearly speaks to it over and over again. This is what it says. You just found out 2,500 years ago, Moses told everybody that stop looking outside yourself for somebody who's going to do it for you or get it for you. It's not going to happen that way. It's in your mouth and in your mind and in your heart that you can tune in as part of your spiritual practice and know what is appropriate, what is right, what is true, what brings peace. And of course, in Miracles, salvation is for the mind. It is attained through peace. This is the only thing that can be saved, and the only way to save it. Any response other than love arises from a confusion about the what and the how of salvation. And this is the only answer. Never lose sight of this, and never allow yourself to believe, even for an instant, that there is another answer. For you will surely place yourself among the poor who do not understand that they dwell in abundance and that salvation is come. Salvation is for the mind, and it is attained through peace. This is the only thing that can be saved, and the only way to save it. Any response other than love arises from a confusion about the what and the how of salvation. And this is the only answer. Never lose sight of this, and never allow yourself to believe, even for an instant, that there is another answer. For you will surely place yourself among the poor, who do not understand that they dwell in abundance, and that salvation is come. So, we have the clear guidance. We've always had masters down through the ages calling us to tune in to that higher level of awareness. And I suspect many people eventually get around to doing that. After they've attempted to make the world work perfectly and finding that it cannot work perfectly. You know, when the Master of Life said, "In the world you have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." And beyond that, he says, "Follow me to overcome the world. Follow me to overcome the world." And expressly, that's relating to the thinking of the world. So that to enter into that higher state of consciousness, we have to release the world as we were conditioned from our youth to believe in it. We must release our concept of life as we were conditioned to believe in it. And this is spoken to about and through the masters over and over again. Here is our function in life. This is from the workbook in Course in Miracles, Lesson 62. It is your forgiveness that will bring the world of darkness to the light. It is your forgiveness that lets you recognize the light in which you see. Forgiveness is the demonstration that you are the light of the world. Through your forgiveness does the truth about yourself return to your memory. Therefore, in your forgiveness lies your salvation. Illusions about yourself and the world are one. That is why all forgiveness is a gift to yourself. So it goes on to give this affirmation. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. I would fulfill my function that I might be happy. This stuff eventually gets through. If you do spiritual practice and you do spiritual reading and you're devoted to the ideas being shared, then eventually one day you won't have to be practicing. You will be in the consciousness of God. But until then, it is your forgiveness that will bring the world of darkness to the light. Because the world is in each person's mind. And in each person's mind, most of which who grew up conditioned by a definition of life that this body, this personal body, mind, is myself. And that holds me separate and apart from everyone else and everything else. And to the degree that we can be really isolated in the egocentric definition of life, people are capable of saying things and doing things that are totally not in keeping with even being vaguely human. So that's where the transformation takes place, in our own minds. But listen to this. This is truth. It is your forgiveness that will bring the world of darkness to the light. It is your forgiveness that lets you recognize the light in which you see. Forgiveness is the demonstration that you are the light of the world. Through your forgiveness, does the truth about yourself return to your memory? And what is the truth about yourself? What's the reference from this? Forgiveness brings about the truth about yourself. What is the truth about yourself? Right. I'm not a separate body-mind in a world of separate phenomena, separate others. I'm a divine being, interconnected with all beings and all life. Does anybody have to lay out a dogma to me when I know that? A dogma that says, in order to be right with God, you've got to be considerate, compassionate, kind, giving. This is what will make you right with God, so on that distant day when you drop the body, you'll go to heaven. Then, when you get to heaven, God will have to tell you what it means to be alive in heaven. And what you're going to hear there is what's being shared in unity all the time. So it's not about some distant salvation. It's about a very present salvation from the illusions we have grown used to, accustomed to, and believe in, that deny us peace of mind, happiness, love, understanding, insight. Through your forgiveness, does the truth about yourself return to your memory, that you are one with everything, and that you live to bless, and as you bless, you are blessed in return. And as you give, it is given to you in return. Those laws don't operate in the outer directed thinking of the world. They are in denial of that. Illusions about yourself and the world are one. That is why all forgiveness is a gift to yourself. So, the spiritual practice, the two main spiritual practice items are meditation and the holy pause. Are you involved in this? And I suspect some of you are. And some of you are only half-heartedly involved in it. Because your limited idea of being right about what you perceive is holding you in your ego-centered definition. But when you let that go, and you realize you are only here to bestow peace and receive peace, then you will begin to free yourself to know what it means to be truly alive. So we're going to meditate. Meditation and the holy pause, of course, you know what they are. Meditation, we quietly sit still and withdraw from the incessant thinking of the ego mind. It's forever contemplating what it has to do, can do, must do to make the future better for itself on a physical, material level. We let that go for a while. We sit still, we open up, and we become okay with ourselves as just being here, not striving for even spiritual awareness, just being here in this present moment. And that's what we are in the process of doing in meditation. And then when we're going in the world and operating in the world, we have to be able to pause when we feel negative emotions and negative thoughts arising. And then we have to realize in that, when we pause, that we don't want to give up the peace that surpasses the understanding of the world. So we forgive. It precedes us. We forgive. I don't care. Do it. Continue to do it. Life will teach you what it needs to teach you. I don't have to do anything except bestow peace on you and bless you in my own mind. Take a holy pause and know that peace is the most valuable thing, so worth preserving that you're willing to surrender your illusionary idea of the need to be right, well thought of, praised. We're going to meditate together, listen to the beautiful sound of this crystal bowl, and give ourselves permission to just be sitting here feeling okay for these few moments, not thinking that something's missing, something's needed, something's wrong. If you have some challenge in your life right now, just allow it to be there, let it rest a while, and just be okay with this moment in which you are sitting. And you can take this idea when we enter the silence. Forgiveness is my function in the world. Forgiveness frees me from the limited definition of life. Forgiveness is my function in the world. Forgiveness frees me from my limited definition of life. Refined space of awareness, we will offer the names of those that have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls each name, just let the thought of wholeness or oneness go to that name.
Justin Fundress, Leo Saltzman, Justin Funches, Cynthia, Judy Kennedy, Mansa and parents, Santisha and Mike, Tyler and girlfriend, Grace Goodman, pray for the lost and lonely, warmth for the cold, food for the hungry, those in solitude find companionship. Joseph Schumas, mother of John Williams. John Williams, my vibrant health is God's health. Grace Goodman, Adam Casaldus, Jolene Kindig, Mary Sue McRae and family, Daniel, Elizabeth Barr, Judy Kennedy, Sheila Goodman, Joe and Grace and Sadie, our children everywhere, Loretta, Marcus Naranto, Kate Beltrami and family, Paul Duckrow, people of Ukraine, the people of Iran, Lou Collins. May truth and integrity come back to America. Our water, earth, all people on planet Earth.
D. Matthew and family, S. Casey and family, S. Daniel and family, Sandy Spahn, Brian McKibben, Debbie,
We see this healing light surrounding the prayer box and all the people's names that have been submitted. We see them healed, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us take a moment now to share the vision of transformation worldwide. Seeing the consciousness divine, establishing peace in the minds and hearts of everyone sharing this Boulder community with us. And this divine awareness spreading to everyone sharing the state of Colorado with us. And this divine consciousness opening the hearts and minds of everyone sharing these United States of America with us. And it moving now in the hearts and minds of everyone sharing this planet Earth and establishing that harmony and peace we were born to realize, and establishing the love and understanding in all our relationships with the creatures of the earth. and the vegetation of the earth and the waterways of the earth, so that we become divine stewards of the harmony, healing, and peace. For this opportunity in every moment, we give thanks. And to this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. Those of you watching live stream or on our website can scroll down to that place that says donate. It will show you the different ways you can donate to Unity of Boulder. And let us all realize that in giving this way, we support the truth that will transcend the limited awareness of the world and restore that pristine majesty, that new heaven, that new earth. And so we pray this way, bringing to mind that financial gift we'd like to make. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. So it is.
Come to the light, the candle of hope. Everyone gather near. Come to the light and warm in its glow, bringing the light to hear. This is the time, this is the place. We let the joy be raised. Lift up your voice, sing and rejoice. Open your heart to grace. Come to the light, the candle of hope. Everyone gather near. Come to the light and warm in its glow, bringing the light to hear.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth and to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen.
Choir practices tomorrow at 6:30 down in the middle room, and we're going to be starting Thanksgiving music and Christmas music, and it's a really great place to make friends and really be part of a very vital part of this church. And the Sacred Feminine is meeting tomorrow at noon, and I'm going to be talking about healing remedies that will save your life. And also, I have a letter that Merle Fillmore wrote, and it's just a paragraph, and I want everybody to take that with them. Because any physical thing you're dealing with, if you read this paragraph every day, and men can take the paragraph also, it doesn't have to just be women, but she covers exactly what causes the illness in our body in just a few sentences. And it's something that should be read every day. And she, by really getting into it and feeling what it was saying, she healed herself of tuberculosis and a number of other things in her body. And we can heal ourselves if we just do the work and not carry any negativity in our mind at all. So come to the Sacred Feminine, and that's at 12, and it'll be in the bookstore area. And really try choir. And I just want to say that the bass is going to be here tomorrow. Okay.
Who's going to be here?
The bass. I've got a bass for our bass player who's going to practice it. It's going to be here at Unity tomorrow.
Okay. Very good. On Sunday, Norma and I will be doing the 9 a.m. service, and Santisha will be doing the 11 o'clock service. And this will be the final Sunday before the elections in this country. And also the final Sunday where we have 2 services. We're going to be only doing 1 service the Sunday after this. That's on the 13th of November. At 11 o'clock, I will be speaking at that service. And it'll be followed by a luncheon and a book signing in which I will be relating certain concepts that I never related at the pulpit that came through the writing of my memoirs. And so I'm inviting all of you to come along and get in touch with what is truly valuable.
I had to live through his transitions. He is amazing from where he started. And he was even much better than what he was before when he met me. But it wasn't a person I'd want to take home to my dad.
Okay, thank you for that. So maybe you don't want to read the book after all. Anyway, have a beautiful night, everyone.